Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from BoardGameCo, and it's another week in review. Now, this week it's been fairly busy. It's been a fun week. Every week is a fun week, but this week, so first of all, I've been responding to a lot fewer comments than I usually do, and that is primarily, well, one, because I'm busy, but I'm always busy, but that's primarily been because Quackalope, Jesse, decided to once again flood my comments with Quacks. That, combined with my own deluxeification video I did last Friday, led to, and requiring a comment to be entered to win, led to a whole lot more comments than usual. Now, while I still do respond to lots of Quacks and comments and giveaways, I'm a little bit less incentivized to do so because obviously people are commenting for a reason and it's less for pure engagement. And so while I'll still make the effort, I make less of an effort. The problem is the nature of YouTube comment system and the way it all works. It means I'm just getting flooded with more comments than usual, clogging up even the other ones. So I've still been replying to comments, but just a whole lot less than I usually do. Now, speaking of giveaways, we are eligible for a few different giveaways. To begin with, we're going to be having that Deluxe Fight Upgrades giveaway, where we did get 1,000 likes, so I am going to be giving away that copy of Wingspan, all deluxeifications included as well, and I'll be doing that drawing on Monday in my to back or not to back video. So pay attention there if you want to see if you won or not. Now, in general, when I do these drawings, I will try to draw someone. And if I can't get a hold of you after like 5-6 days or something, I'm going to have to draw another winner, which has only happened once so far, but it does happen. And then secondly, we have more giveaways for $50 gift cards. Effectively, I finally crossed Quackalope, but I have to check the numbers. I think it was at 500 subs more than when he wanted to, so which basically translates to 5 gift cards, if I'm not mistaken. I need to double check that. But if that's the case, there's going to be 5 drawings for 5 $50 gift cards. And again, that will be done in Monday's video, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Past that, this is a bit of a timestamps down below for any relevant section you want to skip. But this is a little bit of an update around Patreon. So, I have Patreon. I've had Patreon for a while. And I always want to do Patreon exclusive content. And for 2 reasons. One is to show appreciation for those who have chosen to give me money every single month when they don't have to. I mean, the content's all free. They certainly don't have to. And 2 is because obviously there's also a selfish aspect of by putting content behind Patreon, it does give other people an additional incentive. Now, and by the way, I don't mean that from a judgy stance. I'm telling you for myself, my own stance, there's only like 1 or 2 Patreons I have ever backed purely for the sense of I want to support that person because I believe they bring value to this space. Most of the time when I give money to a creator in some sense, or a Kickstarter, or whatever it is because I want stuff. I get it. There's no offense or whatever it is. But as far as that goes, as far as how has my Patreon content gone for the past, 6 months or whatnot. So I have a weekly update every single week. I have an update where on Monday I post the schedule for the week, and then every other Monday is a poll where people can choose what they want. And then once a month, and I'm behind on this one, I've been bad at this, once a month I let my Patreons completely and totally choose the video they want. They come up with the idea, they vote amongst themselves, and then I do a video around that, which has resulted in a few fun videos. So, but past that, I've wanted to do actual video content around Patreon. Now, one of the things I've been doing recently is a bit of a behind-the-scenes update every 2 weeks, but it's been less interesting than I would ideally like because I don't necessarily have something to talk about every week, and most of what I do goes into this week in review to begin with. But I have had a series that I've kept pushing off, which is myself and Rena playing, campaign games behind the scenes. So for instance, I'll have Cthulhu Death May Die, where we'll put it on the channel. And then if you want to watch us go through the whole Cthulhu Death May Die, that would be behind the scenes Patreon exclusive. So stuff like that will eventually come. But practically speaking, we've just been so distracted with all the other games we're playing that it hasn't happened yet. But what I am doing, and the first video already went up this week, what I am doing, so basically this past Monday's video, we have one, and going forward I hope to have it as well. I'm starting a new series, which is a little bit tricky, and I'm going to take my time explaining it because I want the point to come across, because it could easily be taken incorrectly. So this new series is basically going to be a direct follow-up to my to back or not to back video that I do every Monday. And in this series, I'm going to go over the exact same games I just covered. So let's say we cover 15 Kickstarters. I'm going to go over those exact same 15 Kickstarters. And then I'm going to try to be much more critical about all the reasons why you should not back it. Now, this is the important part. It's not that one video is me being all fluff and nice, and the other video is me being critical. That's not and I'm only like hiding the truth for behind Patreon. That's not what it is. Rather, it's that in the to back or not to back series, I try to take a fair and balanced approach. So what that means is, let's give two good examples here. Two good examples are going to be, let's say something will hold its value. I tend to give carte blanche to anything that will hold its value, saying, hey, it'll hold its value, go ahead and back it. But that only really works if you're actually going to sell it if it doesn't work for you. If it's just going to sit on your shelf for the next 3 years unplayed, it doesn't matter how much it holds its value. That could still be hundreds of dollars down the drain for that over-the-top Kickstarter you just bought. And so that's one example where I'll try to be more critical about, hey, you have games like this, do you need to get this? Another good example is going to be the aspect of FOMO. So very often I'll say about games in the to back or not to back, hey, this game will probably not be worth what you're paying for it, but it might be your only chance to get it just because there's not a ton of people backing it. And again, that's trying to take a balanced approach. It's not that it's a bad back, it's that if you want it, it might be your best opportunity to get it, but it probably won't hold its value. And that is something that I'll be taking an approach of in this other series of, no, don't give in to FOMO. There's a million other games out there. Skip on it. In other words, rather than trying to take a balanced approach and then letting you choose what you want, I'm going to be particularly trying to be critical about giving you all the reasons not to back something as far as I can see it. Not made up reasons, not being critical for the sake of being critical, but focusing on the critical and only lightly touching upon the reasons to back something. And the reason for this series is because there's a million games coming out every single month. Not a million, that's an exaggeration, but it was kind of inspired by the fact that when I got a comment in one of my videos recently, where one of those videos where I talk about the games I backed, and the person's like, you backed 10 games that month? Like, it's just not realistic. It's not a fair approach for those of us who can't afford to back 10 games a month. And I think that's fair. I think it's fair that that's a reasonable response, that if I choose to back 10 games a month, that is something that I can do, but it doesn't give you the feedback, I guess, as to which are the very best backs as opposed to which are okay backs, because I do back things that I probably shouldn't, and it's a decision I choose to make, and many of us choose to do that as well. But for those of you who are looking to back 1 or 2 games a month or perhaps less, then this series is designed around that. Now, so why Patreon exclusive? 2 reasons. One, the obvious selfish aspect of, again, going back to the aspect of it gives you another reason to sign up for Patreon, and 2 is because since this is not a balanced approach, since this is not honest feedback, but rather specifically looking and catering and trying to find reasons not to back things, I don't want this series out in the wild. I don't want YouTube suggesting this in the feed to some other person, oh, click on this video, and they walk into it having no context as to what the point of this series is, and then they see me spending, 10 minutes talking about all the reasons not to back these campaigns. That's not what I want. I refuse to have that happen because it's not a fair and balanced approach. It is specifically taking a one-sided approach. I want anyone who watches that video series to understand exactly what the point is. Use the information how you want, absolutely. But I don't want it being, just completely without context on YouTube. I want it to very specifically be something that people only find if they know exactly what it is. And so that's going to be a new Patreon exclusive video that I already have last week's up, and I'm going to have it every single week. And yes, because of that fear of people taking it the wrong way, even with it being Patreon exclusive, the first minute of every single video, every single week, will be me harping upon the fact that it's not a fair and balanced approach. It is taking things that I believe, but doubling down on those and focusing less on the excuses to back. That was a long segment because I want to explain myself properly when I do this. I have to figure out a way to condense all that to a shorter 1-minute approach because I want that warning every single time. And with that, we move on to, speaking of warnings, we had Kickstarter giving you warnings at checkout. This is a new thing I noticed this week, where all of a sudden, when you check out on Kickstarter, it says, I haven't seen this on every campaign, but I've seen it selectively, where it seems to say, it pops up and it's like, just to be clear, you understand, you are not buying a good, you're not buying a product, you're investing in a future of somebody, blah, blah, blah. And I thought that was interesting. That's Kickstarter, again, attempting to double down on the idea that you're not buying a product, but you are supporting a fledgling company known as Cool Mini or Not, or whatever. That's going to be that. Then as far as game news, we don't have that much, but One Deck Galaxy was just announced, so they have, One Deck Dungeon. We're going to have One Deck Galaxy is going to be an option to get at some point. We had CMYK games. That's going to be monikers, wavelength, all that stuff, the fuzzy little Tower of Fuzzies, that game. Apparently they got the rights to Quacks of Quedlinburg and Taverns of Tiefenthal, as well as they're putting out a new expansion for Quacks of Quedlinburg. Now, this is a little bit tricky because I don't know for sure the reason for this, but I do know that North Star Games, the publisher of Quacks of Quedlinburg, has been having financial difficulties for a while. They publicly posted about this on Facebook, on BoardGameGeek at one point, so they've had some issues. I don't know if this is tied to that or unrelated, but it looks like it looks like Quacks and Taverns of Tiefenthal have switched to CMYK. Now, I don't know how things are going to play out, but I will say, if you're going to transition from pure party games to something else, Quacks and Taverns are solid choices. They're solid transitions to doing more and doing other games, but while kind of staying under the party game umbrella. Happy to see what happens there. Excited for a new expansion for Quacks. Definitely want to see more of that, but that is basically going to be that. And then lastly, this was a surprise to me, Path of Light and Shadow. Don't know if you've ever heard of that one. It's not a very well-known game, but Path of Light and Shadow by Indie Boards and Cards is going to be having an expansion called the Solstice expansion. I have no idea if it's still published by Indie Boards and Cards. I assume it will be, but that's going to be one that, I played that one a long time ago. I thought it was a really solid game. Didn't end up keeping it because it felt like it took too much time to really get into and to teach and get people up to speed, but it was a solid game, and it's exciting to see it come back, and I will have to resist the temptation to back it on Kickstarter because I tend to this goes back to the series. I tend to want to get things when they're on Kickstarter, even though I didn't get them before. And that's going to be that as far as what's up next. So, what I've played, let's come to that. What I've played this past week is going to be the following. Let's go to my little app over here. And by the way, I get this question every single week, and I forget to always talk about it. But the app I use is something called BG Stats. It's going to be an app on both Android and on Apple, and it covers all the things that you want as far as tracking plays. I obsessively track plays, but not everyone does, and not everyone should. So, where is my schedule? So what do we have there? What do we have? I'm trying to find where we're up to. Okay. We had more Merchants of Magick. Got more Merchants of Magick plays in. We got a play of Castlescape. I'm doing this correctly, right? Am I doing this correctly? No, I'm doing this wrong week. Let's go over here. Here we go. I'm up to the right week now. We have Caper. Got a play of Caper in. Caper's going to be a 2-player game that they just recently had Caper Europe on Kickstarter. I played the original for the first time. We have Chronicles of Drunagar, Age of Darkness. I got my first play of Chronicles in, and I have my second play as well, caught up in here, but I want to get more plays in before I review it. I'll come back to it in a minute when I talk about it soon. We have Marvel United. Got some more Marvel United plays in. Merchants Cove. Got several games of Merchants Cove in this weekend. Lots of fun, and yeah, basically review coming today. We'll talk about that soon, but Merchants Cove is review coming today. Or you can listen to the Quackalope podcast if you don't want to wait that long, because we talked about it this past Thursday. Well, we talked about it earlier in the week. You heard it on Thursday. That's going to be Merchants Cove. We have Zombicide 2nd Edition. Got my first play of that in. I'll give you some spoilers here. I'm not reviewing it yet, but I imagine, as of right now, that I will be keeping Zombicide Undead or Alive when it comes in, and I'll be keeping Zombicide Black Plague, and I think I'm getting rid of 2nd Edition, and I think I'm getting rid of Invader. I'm not ready to do that yet. I still want to try them under different circumstances, and also I've promised Shira that I won't get rid of Invader until I play it with her. But effectively, those are games that I really just wanted the best of the best in those series, and while I think that I like the campaign aspect of what 2nd Edition is bringing to the table, Undead or Alive will give me that as well in a theme I prefer. I don't really care for the cars or the this or the that, so we'll see how that actually goes there. But first play in, overall it's fine. It's totally fine. It's just I prefer Black Plague. Black Plague's still the best for me as far as that system goes. We have Coloma. Got a play of Coloma in finally. I've been pushing that game off for way too long. Architects of the West Kingdom got another play in with the expansion. I'll let you know more about that later. We have Black Rose Wars. Got several plays of Black Rose Wars in. So Black Rose Wars is one that I was hoping to get to the table. Am I missing one? I'm missing Western Legends. I don't have Western Legends now. I have to make that note. Western Legends. I got Western Legends as well. Western Legends is solid. I'll be doing a review or a play this, not that. I'll be doing some sort of coverage around Western Legends at some point. I need to get more plays in. So far I'm only 1 play in. I need to play it more. Overall, intrigued by the system. I think it needs the expansions to keep it fresh and interesting for me. But I have complaints and whatnot, but overall I like it, and we'll cover it more. I have Black Rose Wars, which I mentioned. Now Black Rose Wars, at some point I'll be doing a review on. Fiddly as anything and hard to teach. Lots of information you have to convey to people to get them into it. But once you do, it's a lot of fun. And then from there, Robot Quest Arena. Got a few plays of Robot Quest Arena in. That's an upcoming Kickstarter. Pay attention for that one. Bunny Kingdom. Got another play of that in. Bunny Kingdom's a regular. Keeps hitting the table. Speaking of, we got Zombicide Black Plague in as well. We have Chronicles. Oh, Zombicide Black Plague was so much fun. That's going to be a playthrough on the channel. It's so much better than Zombicide 2nd Edition. Nothing against Zombicide 2nd Edition. I just like Black Plague the best. Then we have more Chronicles of Drunagar, more Merchant's Cove, Dive, another upcoming Kickstarter. We have Aldabas Doors of Cartagena, Vivid Memories, more Aldabas, and more Vivid Memories. And then we have anything else. What else did I play this week? I played another game today on online, an upcoming Kickstarter. Don't remember the name of it. I'll have to log that at some point. But that's going to cover most of what I got played this week. I feel like I'm missing some things. I usually am. Did I mention? Oh, I missed some. Arkan Wars, Spirit Island, Drawn to Adventure. That's going to be the game that came with Coloma. It's a roll and write. Tom Vassell just reviewed it. I overall agree with his points, while I think I'm more intrigued by the game than he is. I'll have a review of that coming. And again, Spirit Island is just amazing. I need to play more Spirit Island. I told myself this year that I'm going to try to get 10 plays of Spirit Island in this year. I think I'm at 3 so far. Things are not looking good. Maybe I'll pull up the expansion, get some stuff done there, and that is going to be everything I've played, which brings us to the week in review. Week in review. So, Saturday, last week we have Merchants of Magick and Honeybuzz, the 2 games that I reviewed, playthroughs and reviews with. Well, Merchants of Magick was with Rena and myself, and Honeybuzz was with myself, Rena, and Shira. Both those games staying in the collection. Merchants of Magick is delightful. I don't know if it has staying power long term, but for right now, it's delightful. And Honeybuzz is, again, another one that I think it does need expansion for long term staying, but it is really, really fun every time I play it. It feels like I'm playing the same game every time I play it, but past that, I really enjoy the game that I'm playing, and so it's beautifully produced. I want more content, more expansions. I know there's stuff coming, so I'll be paying attention for that. On Sunday, we had top 10 Kickstarters that are upcoming that I'm paying attention to. Specifically, that aspect of games that I have played that I'm paying attention to. Quackalope did one as well. By the way, this whole week has been me and Quackalope basically having the same videos the same days. It's one of those weeks. It's not going to be a regular thing where we do all our content together, but this week it certainly happened. But upcoming Kickstarters is one that we did on Sunday. Sunday's the one. And there's a bunch of games that I'm really excited for. I would say if I had to pick one as my highlight offhand, probably Oros is probably my highlight in that 10. I'd have to take a look at what exactly I put on the list. I don't remember everything. Lots of solid games, lots of interesting ones that I'm paying attention to when they launch on Kickstarter eventually. Monday is going to be To Back or Not to Back. The highlight for me there was probably It's a Wonderful Kingdom, because I wasn't planning on backing it, but I was pulled in because I originally had It's a Wonderful World, got rid of it eventually, and It's a Wonderful Kingdom I just wrote off because a 2-player version of It's a Wonderful World, I'm not interested in it. But between the art, the additional mechanics, I'm intrigued. I am very intrigued. I hope I like it. We'll see. If not, I probably shouldn't be backing it. This goes back to my series, okay? I would be yelling at myself, don't back the 2-player version of the game that you didn't like already. What is wrong with you, Alex? Just no self-control, man. Anyways, that's very customized, by the way. That's customized. In fact, we should do this for like extra pledge levels, for like, the $100 Patreon tier. I should do a custom video where I shout at you and try to convince you not to back all the games you want to back based on your specific collection. That's a fun idea. I kind of like the idea of that one. But anyways, moving on from there, we have Tuesday. Tuesday is going to be 2 reviews, Lost Empires and Canvas. Lost Empires is currently on Kickstarter. I think it's funded already, doing a good job, Colossal Games. And Canvas is one that is I did a review of Canvas itself, not Canvas Reflections. The short version of those is Lost Empires is one that I do enjoy. I don't know if it stays in my collection long term. Practically speaking, it's a 2-player competitive card game. Those games just don't do well in my collection long term, but I did enjoy it for what it is, meaning it's just not to my taste, but it's not a category that I usually keep, but the game itself was a lot of fun when I played it. Canvas, on the other hand, is just solidly fun. I'm really enjoying Canvas. I rated it a 3.3 out of 5, and I'm tempted to bump it to a 4. I have a hard time doing so. The gameplay is too light, but I find it a fun game to play. It's one of those games that might get a push up eventually. I have this planned for eventually, but at some point I'll start doing what Tom does, of probably in the week in review, taking a look at what I reviewed a year ago and then telling you how the rating has changed over time. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm not ready to bump Canvas up just yet, but each time I play it, I enjoy it more, and of course I'm backing Reflections. Then on Wednesday we had 2 videos. First of all, 25,000 subs, and that was the first video. Basically, me and Quackalope both did a thank you for hitting 25,000 subs. I've been chasing that guy for a year now, and almost a year now, and we crossed 25,000 within 4 hours of each other, which is insane, and it's cool because I've been very appreciative of all of you. I have, and watch the video, the 25,000 subs, thank you. I am very appreciative there, genuinely so, because I believe you are all giving me an opportunity that I wouldn't otherwise have, an opportunity that I tremendously appreciate. What I haven't done is I haven't been as publicly appreciative of Quackalope, of Jesse Samuel Anderson. And obviously I like him. I think that's pretty clear. But I really value the relationship I've built with him over this past year. Not just him. Plenty of other content creators or people in the industry that I've developed relationships, both companies, both people, both content creators, including people from, Patreon or Discord or whoever. But Jesse Anderson has definitely been one of the highlights of this past year for me, of developing a YouTube channel and doing everything else, in terms of a really meaningful friendship that I have developed. And I value his advice, I value his opinion, I value the general way he approaches things in life. I really like that guy, and I'm excited for him. I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for his channel. I'm excited for my channel. I'm excited for our friendship, and yeah, I guess a little bit of public vulnerability and all of that. Then, moving on from there, we have, that was Wednesday. Oh yeah, then later that day, I did top 10 YouTubers for Kickstarter, where I talked about various YouTubers that I follow for Kickstarter. I just covered a bunch of the usuals, but including, I will say the one I would like to focus on is IV Games. They just started doing a new series, and I really think it's a solid addition to the Kickstarter space in terms of different types of coverage that are very useful. It will give you more of a look into the way things are structured, or the way things could or should be done. So I recommend checking that out. Again, lots of other content creators, but that's one that I think is doing something new, and so I think that's worth focusing on. Then on Thursday is going to be upcoming Kickstarters for May, which I should have planned this better, because I did my top 10 upcoming Kickstarters I paid attention to, and then later that week I did 10 upcoming Kickstarters for May. I probably should have spaced those out a little bit more, but it is what it is. And so as far as that one, lots of ones to pay attention to. I think the two I probably have to be careful of are going to be The Witcher and Hoplomachus. Now, this is a good example of times that I should be shouting at myself not to back things. I got rid of the original Hoplomachus. I got rid of it. That's a series that, it's a game series that I enjoyed. I liked it. I really did. But Too Many Bones did it better for me. And I felt that I'd always rather play Too Many Bones. And so I got rid of Hoplomachus, and now they have Hoplomachus Victorum, and so I'll pay attention on Kickstarter, and I'll back it because I am crazy. This is why I need someone on camera yelling at me not to back Kickstarters when you already got rid of the other one. Breathe, Alex. Breathe. Okay. That's going to be that. Past that, The Witcher. The Witcher is another one I'm paying attention to, as well as Dark Rituals. Dark Rituals, you see this over here? This is going to be the retail Dark Rituals. I'll be paying attention to the Kickstarter, hoping to get this one played very shortly so I can decide if I want to get more. Again, this is a common problem, me playing games not because I want to play the game, but to find out if I should spend more money on the game that I haven't played until now. So yeah, we'll do that. And then past that was going to be, I don't remember else, I can't remember what else was in that list, but lots of Kickstarters to pay attention to. I'm sure I'll back more than I should. Adventure Tactics was in that list. Probably end up backing that one as well. Either way. Friday was going to be the top 10 worst games in Quackalope's collection. Now, I don't know what the comment section is like just yet, because it's Thursday night for me right now, and I haven't seen the Friday video, but I hope it's fun, because it seems like it should be a fun video. He did this to me a while ago, top 10 worst games in BoardGameCo's collection, and this was payback. I actually filmed this one about a month and a half ago with him, and it's finally going up now. I will say, I apologize in advance. One of the games I didn't play. The other 9 I did, so, I don't really care if you agree with me or not. One of them I didn't play, and I apologize for calling it the worst game in his collection when I didn't actually play it. I still fight the good fight, but I will accept any hate or dislikes that are coming as a result of that. And then today's Saturday, as you well know. Today, for me, it's Saturday. I don't know when you're watching this video. It could be next week. But basically, I have 2 reviews coming up today at 10 o'clock. That's not true. At 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I have a review coming for Chai Tea for 2. And then at 2 o'clock, we have a review coming for Merchants Co. So pay attention to those. And I'll talk more about those, of course, next week. As far as the week upcoming, on Sunday, I'll be doing a full Where Are We Now with Marvel United, X-Men, and all the stuff they've unlocked. They've unlocked a lot of fun stuff. I'm very excited for it, even though I probably shouldn't back it, but I'm very excited for it. And then later this week, I'll have, of course, games leaving the collection. That'll be going up sometime next week. Don't have an exact date yet because it might be variable, but we'll see. And that is basically everything. This was a longer week in review than the past few weeks. Lots to cover, lots to talk about, and enjoy the week. I plan on going, the games. So basically, Dark Rituals, like I said, hope to play this one, this weekend, maybe. We'll see. I have to finish the rules. Lots of rules there. And then Chronicles of Drunagar is one, like I said already. Got 2 plays of it already in. I will not give my coverage yet, my review yet. What I will say is I am definitely enjoying it. I have criticisms. I'll talk about it more. but I have to play through it more because this is not a game where I can play it like 3 times and give a review. The Chronicles of Ravnica is a campaign game. I need to get at least a good chunk of content in that I feel I've really experienced that leveling up before I can give a review, so it still might be a few weeks out. It depends how many plays I can get done over the next week or two. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe I'll be ready next week. I don't think so. Maybe 2 weeks from now. We'll find out. Whatever it is, I'm not going to rush it. I will play it. I will probably enjoy it, and I will let you know. Until next time, I am Alex Radcliffe from BoardGameCo. I hope you enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much for everything along the way, and for the past year and a half. It's tremendously appreciated. Until next time, have a good one.